channel Decode Science. My name is Muskan, and in this video I'm going to discuss about the discovery of microorganisms. So let's talk about the discovery of microorganisms. So the discovery of microorganisms took place after the discovery of microscope. So generally we all know the microbiology is the study of microorganisms and their activity. But the microorganisms are the organisms which are very small in size and we could not see them with our naked eyes. We need a microscope for observation of the microorganisms. That's why the discovery of microorganisms take place only after the discovery of microscope. So this is the need of microscope in microbiology, that the organisms are very small in size and a naked human eye cannot see them. Then what happened? Then in the end of the 13th century, what happened at the end of the 13th century, the discovery of the magnifying glasses takes place. People started using the magnifying glasses and started making the magnifying glasses. Then later on, the Dutch spectacle maker Zacharias Janssen used a second lens. He used a second lens to observe or to magnify the certain images, which is the basic principle behind the compound microscope. So this is the basic principle that we used in compound microscope to build up the compound microscopes. Later on, then the Galileo in 1610 improved the concept of microscope. Then in 1625, Faber he used the term microscope at the very first time. So this is all about the development of microscope. To study the discovery of microorganisms, first the understanding of the development of microscope is important. So as we see, the microbiology is the study of microorganisms and their activity. So what is the need of microscope in microbiology is that microorganisms are very small and we cannot see them with the naked eye, the human naked eye. That's why we need a microscope in microbiology especially. Then what happened at the end of the 13th century, magnifying glasses occur, or people started using the magnifying glasses. Later on, then a person called Zacharias Janssen, he used second lens in that magnifying glasses to observe the certain images, which is the basic or criteria behind the compound microscope. Faber in 1625 used the term microscope at the first time. Then later on, Robert Hooke came. Robert Hooke has a very important contribution in the discovery of microorganisms. So what he did, Robert Hooke built up his own compound microscope, which has resolution around 300 to 500 fold. So his microscope can visualize or resolve the images up to 300 to 500 fold. So what he did, he made his own compound microscope and observed various material but the images of his microscope were distorted by the colored rays. So that's why he wasn't able to observe everything very properly. Later on, then he published his research or whatever findings to the Royal Society of London, and he published his findings in a book called Micrographia, where Micrographia contains a very important information about the insects, insect larvae, seeds, feathers, hairs, cork, etc. So he observed the cork very nicely, and we all know that he observed the cork and he found out certain compartmental structures, empty compartmental structures over there, which he called the cells. And later on, then because of these findings, he laid the foundation of the cell theory. We all know the cell theory. So he laid the foundation because of this foundation of cell theory occurred. So he laid the foundation of cell theory. Later on, the scientists Schleiden and Schwann developed this cell theory, which is very important in biology. Then later on, Robert Hooke also described the microscopic form of fungi, which we called mold. So he also described the microscopic form of fungi, but he wasn't able to see the bacteria. His microscope could not see visualize the bacteria, which are even more smaller organisms. Then later on, the discovery of animalcules take place. That is, uh, Antony van Leeuwenhoek came. He was a cloth trader actually. So he used to use a lot of magnifying glasses for examining the clothes, especially the cotton and all. So it built up a curiosity, and he started using the different magnifying glasses and started observing the different things. In that way, he built up his own microscope. It was a simple microscope, it was not a compound microscope, but it was a very powerful. So he built up his own simple microscope and observed a lot of things. For example, like the especially the water, lake water. So he observed the lake water, then again the urine, then saliva. He observed the lake water, urine, saliva, and so many different kinds of. So he observed the saliva, urine, rainwater, then the scraping from the tooth surfaces, which we call as a tooth plaque. So he observed such kind of different things, and he found out the certain small entities. He found out the small entities in this type of objects like water and all, water, urine and all. So he called them as a animalcules. Animalcules simply means the animalcules simply means the small animals. So animalcules means the simply small animals, and later on then, so Antony van Leeuwenhoek observed this kind of objects, and he found out the animalcules, that is the small animals. He called them small animals, that is animalcules. Actually those were the bacteria and protozoans. Then later on he published his findings and the images of this animalcules to the Royal Society of London. He sent all his findings and images to the Royal Society of London, and just because these animalcules were the bacteria and protozoa, that's why we generally honor the Antony van Leeuwenhoek as the father of microbiology. So in that way, the Antony van Leeuwenhoek was the man who firstly saw the microorganisms such as the bacteria and protozoas. So in that way, Antony van Leeuwenhoek discovered the microorganisms. So this is how the discovery of microorganisms took place. Firstly, the development of microscope was important for the discovery of microorganisms because they are very small and we could not see them without the help of microscope. So firstly, the discovery of microscope took place, that is at the end of the 13th century. The magnifying use of magnifying glasses started. Then later on, the person like Galileo come who improved the concept of microscope, and later on then in 1625 Faber used the concept of term microscope at the very first time. In that way, the people started building the microscope. Later on then Robert Hooke come up with his own compound microscope, which has a resolution around 300 to 500 fold, and he observed a lot of material like the insect larvae, seeds, feathers, hairs, cork, etc. And he published his research work in the book Micrographia, but he wasn't unable to see the bacteria, but he observed the microscopic form of fungi, which we call mold, and his work led to the foundation of the cell theory, but he was unable to describe the or discover the microorganisms. Later on then Antony van Leeuwenhoek was a cloth trader who had a curiosity in the magnifying glasses, and that's why he was trying the different magnifying glasses to see the different images of the different objects. He built up his own simple microscope, not the compound microscope, but it was a very powerful microscope, and he observed the so many things like the lake water, rainwater, then urine, saliva, and the tooth plaque, etc. And he found out certain small entities in these objects, which he called the animalcules. Animalcules nothing but it means the small animals. Later on then he sent his findings and the images of these animalcules to the Royal Society of London, And just because those animalcules were the bacteria and the protozoas, that's why we honor the Antony van Leeuwenhoek as the father of microbiology. So this is how the discovery of microorganism took place. It is a very simple concept. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and share this video with your friends and subscribe to my channel.